hone in or calibrate your enrichments to make sure that they're accurate and trustworthy before you go into your whole data set. The last thing you want to do is enrich all of HubSpot with enrichments that are wrong or off or inaccurate, AI prompts that are hallucinating, and you just spent hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars for nothing. So at Sculpted, we have a process which we're about to improve and make it a bit more automated, but it is what we do right now. After we scope the client's enrichment needs and everything is mapped to HubSpot, we then ask for a subset of data, like 20 or so records from the customer, ideally records that they know a lot about already. So customers, for example. And this way, when we go ahead and enrich those records with Clay, they can look at the outputs and say like, yeah, this is right or this is wrong with high confidence. What we'll do actually is we'll go ahead and manually go through and enrich every single record that they want enriched according to their requirements for, let's say, 20 records. And then we compare the outputs of the manually enriched control group with our Clay enrichments, and we will look and see if there's at least a 90% accuracy for each property. If our goal is always at least 90% accuracy per property, if a property goes below that, we'll do our best to improve and get it above 90%. If it's impossible, then sometimes it's impossible, but we're doing our best to get 90% accuracy for every single property. And so here's an example of a brand that we helped, a company that we helped. They sell to e-commerce brands. This is actually a very difficult task because they sell to apparel brands specifically, and they have very nuanced, I'm going to zoom in here, they have very nuanced criteria and definitions of category, subcategory, etc. So you can see here for each brand, they have a primary category called for the brand. So kids apparel, toys, women, accessories, women, men, etc. And then within each broad category, they would then have subcategories, like, for example, denim, women footwear, women basics, women contemporary. This is a very tricky one, contemporary brands. It's like a mix of like luxury and some other stuff. Men footwear. So this is one of the powerful things about Clay is that you can apply custom logic, like custom definitions of how you think about segmenting accounts with AI and get really accurate results. This would have been impossible without AI. If you go to store leads and you try to filter by category, it's very, very wrong. And even if it's somewhat accurate, your custom definitions of reality of how you think about a brand category, for example, in this case, is always going to be different than anyone else because you have your own unique opinions about the market and your own internal definitions, your own internal nomenclature, your own properties in HubSpot, your own custom definitions. And ZoomInfo and all these other tools, store leads, are going to create custom properties that have their own definitions. It's very hard to use and they're often not matching what you want. So in this case, we could write AI prompts that scrape the site, look at the products that they sell, look at who they sell to, and then we typed up a very long Clay prompt that took all of those inputs and then chose the best category and the best subcategory of the primary category here. And these are the outputs. So this is what I believe was manually enriched over here. And this was what we got out of Clay. And I went through each one and I manually enriched each one myself. And then we would automatically check and see if it was a match or not, true or false. And in this sample, the primary category was 100% correct on a sample size of, actually in this case, 39 records. And over here, one of them was incorrect. So 1 out of 39, which is still only 2.5%. So 97.5% was correct. And if you look at the whole subset of data for both primary and category and subcategory, it was 39 plus 38. So 77 divided by, I guess what would be, hold on, 39 times 2 is 78. So we had 38 out of 39. Yeah. So 38 divided by 39. That was a total brain fart. Basically, we had 39 properties in each column. That times 2, that's 78. Only one of them was wrong. So it was 77 out of 78 was accurate. That's 98, almost 99% accuracy. Very, very good. We do this for every single property we enrich, and this ensures that the Clay enrichments are solid. So then when we go and we give our brief for each property to a Clay freelancer, so they have to return the data to us with the right data format according to our specification, and it has to pass. We do a one-time enrichment of all of the properties manually, and we compare the source data with what they submit, and it has to be at least 90% accurate for it to pass the test. And if it does, it's accepted and they get paid, and then we move on and it's done. That's how we do it at Sculpted. And I hope that this was insightful. This is definitely a step that I recommend doing before the broader database enrichment for all of your Clay workflows.